With us today is Trent Musho from TheBruSho. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Jeremy. Great to have you. Great to be here, and
Great.
great to finally meet you.
Yeah, you too, sir. Yeah, like we're saying off camera, like I've watched you for like almost 5 years now. I've enjoyed all your content. I've made quite a few of your recipes over the time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think you're, and we'll get into that a little bit later on. But the way you film and shot things was really, I would say, very professional. But like I said, we'll talk about your professional stuff here
Thanks.
on the side, which makes sense why they look so good. But everyone gets a quick introduction. So, like I said, with us today is Trent Musho. He works in film and video production. He shoots and edits for brands, companies, and organizations, I guess throughout the United States, I'm assuming. Married, soon to be dad, which is phenomenal. Congratulations on that. You're going to have a
Thank you.
blast.
Thank you.
Oh, it's so much fun. I miss those days. You're into woodworking, crafting, and building. So you're a true maker at heart, it sounds like.
Yeah.
You run a YouTube channel with a Discord community focused on weird and unique fermentations. We'll definitely jump into all those here in a little while too. So beyond beer, you make ciders, kombucha, sake, ginger, and I'm sure there's more I probably don't have listed. It's
hmm
just amazing to watch your transformation from beer to all these new different fermentation styles. Like I said, you're a do-it-yourself guy. You 3D print your own tap handles, and I see you saw you had like a 3D printed pegboard as well. Looked like in one of your
Yeah,
videos I
yeah.
watched
You
not
can
long
kind
ago.
of see it. It's a little bit right here. It's a little bit. There's a couple things
Yeah,
here.
that's pretty cool, yeah. So I
Yeah.
did that as well too. I used the, I'm drawing a blank on it now, but it's one of those 3D printers because I did it for, like, just to keep all my cleaning stuff up and all the way. It kinda helps out a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
And you're also launching a second YouTube channel. We'll talk about that here in a little bit as well too. Did I miss anything?
That sounds about right. Yeah, you got
You're a busy man for sure.
it.
So, I kinda wanna go back to the beginning. I noticed in your little survey I had you fill out, your mother-in-law bought you a winemaking kit.
Yes. Yeah.
So, how did that happen? Was it something you were looking for, or was it just a random gift?
Yeah, it wasn't really, like, something that was on my radar. I never really thought about people brewing or fermenting at home, and I got this winemaking kit for Christmas one year, and it was basically one of those kits where it gives you, like, the juice concentrate, the yeast, and maybe a few, like, stabilizers and things like that, but it was really much like a step-by-step process. You follow it, and, I wanna say it was like a fruited Pinot Noir or something like that, but it was really sweet, and it tasted great, and it was so much fun going through the whole process of making it and then being able to share the product with like friends and stuff like I made this wine. I was instantly hooked on that and kind of grew from there.
Okay, so, like, what was the transition like going from wine, so I guess back one step. So how long were you making wine for before you switched over to making beer?
I was probably doing wine. I think for maybe a year, year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I didn't get into beer until my mother-in-law then like following Christmas or a couple Christmases later got me a Mr. Beer kit
Okay.
because she noticed that
Yeah.
I was into the wine stuff. She's like, "Why don't you try beer?"
Alright. Yeah, Mr. B, I've never done that. How did that turn out? I've heard, like, mixed reviews on it.
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of people, it was pretty bad. The instructions on that are pretty limited, and I think the one that she got me was like American light lager, which is
Okay.
like if you know nothing about fermentation and fermentation temperature, you're pretty much doomed to fail. So yeah, that one wasn't good, but at the end of the day, I still went from like just these ingredients to like a beer that I could drink and bottle, and I was still excited, but I knew I had a lot more to learn with beer. Um, and it's funny, I've gone since making that, years later, now that I have all the knowledge that I do now, I've gone back and bought that same exact kit and then
Mhm.
rebrewed it with the knowledge I have now. And I was like, oh, you can actually can make a good beer with this. There's just a lot of steps you got to know before you can get there.
Yeah, 'cause I've even read throughout my time, being in the homebrew space, like, that's where a lot of people just kinda stop. They get the Miss Beer kit, they try it, it sucks, and they never go
Yeah.
back to it, right?
Yeah.
So I feel kinda bad for people like that because there's like just a small step from it, like, the Miss Beer kit going to get, like, just like an extract kit. It's like you
Yeah.
don't need a whole lot of equipment. It's very simple. If you get like a 2-gallon stock pot, you can probably get some beer going. You have to dilute it and, stuff like that, but you can make a, decent beer with a all grain kit for
Yeah.
sure.
I think it's like one of those things. It gets your toe in it. It's not
Mhm.
gonna. I think for some people they might be disappointed and they give up, but like for me, it was something like, oh, I didn't know this is something that's even possible to do. So I think for that, like for people that are curious about fermentation, it's a great little stepping stone.
Yeah, 100%. So I kind of want to talk about wives for a minute. Like my wife doesn't like any beer. Well, she does like any of my beer. My friend of mine has made some like sweeter beers that she kind of cares for. So I'm just curious, is your wife a taste tester or just to give you any feedback on your fermentations?
Yeah, yeah. She will taste, everything that I make. She doesn't like everything that I make, but she'll at least taste it. She's like what I would describe as like a super taster. She's really good at like describing things. So a lot of
Okay,
times, if
yeah.
I'm struggling to like describe something, I'm like, "What do you taste in this?" But her preferences are much more like light beers, like lagers and pilsners and stuff like that. She likes like the fruited beers, like a fruited wheat ale, sours and that kind of stuff. So every now and then I'll be like, "What do you feel like? What do you want to have on tap? I've had a couple IPAs on tap. Let's get something you want." So,
Oh,
always considering her.
oh, that's awesome. Yeah, like I think I've said this a couple of times in the podcast. I think the day I'll quit making beers, the day I finally get my wife to like something. I can see as I've done it, now I can stop because I
Yeah.
find myself. That's gonna sound bad to me, but like I've reduced how much I make. I only do like 3 gallon batches anymore, and I don't even drink as much as I once did. I try to give away as much as possible. I don't have a problem pouring off a pint or two and dumping it because I just love the process of making beer. Love
Yeah.
that. I love the whole day. I love thinking about recipes. I love reading other people's recipes. I love seeing what ingredients I have kind of laying around and how can I incorporate. For example, like in alt beers. Okay, so do I have enough ingredients to kind of make this alt beer that I kind of want to strive for? Kind of having not made one yet, but that's one that's on my list to make.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. You should.
yeah, I want to really bad. So I've made a cloche like four different times. My last one turned out a little bit better, and the problem was I treated the yeast wrong. That was my problem, right? So if I do it again, I'd definitely buy a more well-known yeast strand. 'Cause I use Cellular Science, the German strand,
Yeah, uh-huh.
and I didn't realize they have a cloche strand. That's probably
Oh,
what
yeah.
I should have went with instead.
Mhm.
But the German strand is a lager, but I fermented it like in ale. So I
Right.
think I had some weird off flavors throughout the yeast. There's some weird
Yeah.
esters I didn't really care for. It wasn't horrible. It was drinkable. It just wasn't
Y
anywhere close to a close.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Those are great. I love both Kolsch and Oat beer. Those are some of my
Yeah.
favorite beers.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they're easy, crisp, easy to go down. So I kind of want to talk about your, I guess, life behind the lens.
Mhm.
Kind of walk us through your career as a film and video production.
Yeah, yeah. So I have been making, like, short films with my friends since, like, middle school. We'd like, run around the neighborhood and shoot little things. So filmmaking was always something that I was like really into. And I actually went to college and studied cinematography there. So the art of filming, lighting, and stuff like that. And I always just had a skill in editing because I was often shooting my own things and then I would edit them as well. I never like really started a YouTube channel before, but it was something that I always like considered. Anyway, so I worked in like the film and video industry. I've made videos for sure. I've done a lot of brand marketing, production stuff like that, as well as shot some short documentaries,
Oh, cool.
short films, music videos, all kinds of different stuff. Starting in Chicago and then moved out to LA, and now I'm in San Diego, still doing the same kind of stuff on the side, or like, that's actually my main gig, and YouTube's my side. But then, when, COVID hit in, like, 2020, that's when I found I had a bunch more free time. I wasn't getting, as much work, but I was able to brew beer, and it was something I always considered, like, could I bring these 2 worlds of my hobby of brewing beer and my profession of filmmaking together? And it stars just kinda aligned in that moment, and I was like, "Let's give it a go. Let's see what happens."
Yeah, I was like I said, I watched you for quite a few years. I think the one that sticks out the most in my mind is the late 1930s, 40s, like Private Eye one that
Oh,
you did. Oh,
yeah.
that was
Yeah, film noir,
so
yeah.
good. Oh my gosh, I was like, man, that's just awesome. It was such a good time. And I think your Halloween one was pretty good too. I think
Oh,
it's where
thank you.
you is it where you transferred into like a werewolf? Was it at the end?
Yeah, that was my most recent Halloween. I always for Halloween, I try and do, like, a fun my
Yeah.
birthday is the day before Halloween, so Halloween's
Oh,
always big
that's cool.
like, a
Yeah.
big thing for me, so I always love doing the Halloween specials. They don't get as much views, but they're, like, my favorite videos to do.
Oh, heck yeah, I just kept doing I enjoy them. So, I'm not sure if you can name drop any of the, companies that you work for, but is it any companies that we would recognize as a national brand that you film for? Or?
Yeah, in the past, I worked, a lot with PepsiCo, so Gatorade,
Okay. Yeah.
and Pepsi brands, Frito-Lay, Quaker Oats, and then, worked with Nike for a little while.
Wow,
I
that's
do work
awesome.
with PETA as well, the animal rights
Uh-huh.
organization, and, yeah, that's just to name a few.
Dude, that is
Yeah.
that's pretty I think that's pretty awesome, yeah. Yeah, I couldn't even imagine working with some big companies like that, especially like PepsiCo since they've owned so much stuff these days. There's just a crazy amount of stuff they own.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I worked for Gatorade specifically for about 9 years, so that was, like, really where
wow.
I got a lot of experience, like, shooting, especially product photography, so, like, a lot of my background in shooting, like, making sure the Gatorade bottle is sweating and looking perfect for the
Mm,
shot,
mhm,
I think it's kinda
mhm.
translated to some of the B-roll that I shoot,
So
for the beers.
again, this kind of off the cuff kind of question. So were you in charge of making the stuff look that way, or was there an actual artist on set that would dabble like water on it or whatever?
So I worked in, like, the internal production team, so it was really just, like, me and 4 other guys, that we would make the short videos for, like, the social media channels and YouTube and stuff like that, so,
That's
yeah.
so fascinating. That's really cool.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
cool, it was a lot of fun.
So I guess we can kind of get into the YouTube side just a little bit. So
Yeah.
like, so again, so you've taken your professional life, you've put that into your production on YouTube, especially over the years. Like I said, your videos have just gotten better in the past 5 years. I've been watching you.
Thank you.
Um, I am just kind of curious, like how long does it take to go from shooting the raw footage to editing it all to get the quality that you're looking for in the video?
Yeah, that's a good question. For a while there was a while where I was posting a video every week, and that was a lot, but, it was essentially like I would be, like, fermenting one week, brewing one week, fermenting a different thing one week, and then, like, editing the next one, so I was always, like, trying to stay ahead of it. Now I take a little more time, but usually it's like if I have a brew day, on, let's say, January 1st, I'm probably posting that video by February 1st. I usually try to give myself not only for, like, the beer, mostly it's for the beer, to let the beer age and whatnot, and then I can edit the video itself probably in a week, but usually I'll do, like, a script. I script every video, kinda plan it out, and then I'll record the voiceover and then bring in, like, the footage and
Hmm.
kinda make it all work together.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So do you remember the first video that you ever did you filmed?
I filmed so before I posted my first video posted is a hibiscus saison,
Okay.
but before I posted that one, I actually filmed a, pumpkin ale video, which I think was posted later on in the, timeline of my video posting. So, pumpkin ale was the first one I shot, but hibiscus saison was the first one I posted.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah, I've never heard of hibiscus saison before.
Yeah, it was, like, lemony, like,
Okay.
'cause hibiscus has a very, like, citrus flavor.
Hmm.
If you've ever had, like, hibiscus tea,
Yeah, I have had that. Yeah.
yeah, like, say it's like a citrus, like, almost berry thing, and, yeah, it made the beer, pink, obviously, and it had a bit of that, like, citrus note, but it had the saison coming through, a little, like, pepperiness. It was
Mm,
interesting one.
yeah, that is pretty interesting. Yeah. Actually, a local brewery to my region. I'm in like the Tri Cities of Tennessee, so like
Mhm.
Bristol, Johnson
Yeah.
City, stuff like that. There's a brewery here called Little Animals. They just reopened, and their saison recipe was it was in, Brew Your Own Beer, my magazine, just this latest
Cool.
episode, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, so he's really into, like, the Belgians and saisons and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. Um,
Yeah.
Sadly, I'm sure it's probably the same around where you're at as well too, like, we've lost quite a few breweries in the last couple years, like,
Yeah.
we had, like, the big spike in, 2020, yeah, 2020, 2021, but the last since 2024, things have just kinda have dipped down quite a bit, and it's kinda sad to see him go, but,
Yeah.
I think it's just
Yeah.
part of the cycle. I mean, I've talked to quite a few people, doing these podcasts, and it's just the trend is always up and down all the time. It's like the longer you're doing this, the more you'll see it. Like we'll have our
Yeah.
peaks and we'll have our valleys, and it's
Yeah,
just hard to watch.
in San Diego where I'm in, it's, like, super competitive, so, like,
Boy, I can see that.
when
Yeah,
they
yeah.
come in, they really gotta stand out. So, there's definitely, like, a lot coming in and a lot going out, and actually, I think this week just, like, Stone just got resold to somebody else.
Really?
So
Huh.
and there's a Stone, they got sold to Firestone Walker, I think, bought them
Hmm.
out from
Okay.
Sapporo. But, there's a big Stone brewery that's right up the street from me, and I think they're gonna close that one up. actually, and just move everything up to Firestone Walker. So
Man,
even
it
the big
sucks.
guys are being affected. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. The only time I like to see when people get bought out is when it's like a hands off. So one that pops up, it's really big, like in the southeast of the United States, is a Terrapin. I believe they
Okay.
got
Yeah.
bought out by Coors, if I remember correctly. And Coors
Okay.
is kind of like a hands off kind of company. Like, as long as you're doing
Yeah.
fine, we're not going to butt by you. You keep making whatever you're making, and then we'll just go from there, which is nice
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
see, right? So,
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious. We'll kind of go back to the YouTube channel. We kind of got a little off topic, but how
Yes.
has your yeah, exactly. How has your channel evolved from where you started to where it is now?
Um, that's a good question. I feel like I kind of realized when I started the channel, I wanted to do like unique things. I wanted to try unique things like the saison to start with, the hibiscus saison. I felt like that was starting on a kind of a weird note. And when I think the first real like experimental non-beer thing I did was a ginger beer. And once I saw that there was like a lot of viewership for that, that kind of like gave me some insight that like, okay, there's things outside of beer that, have the potential to reach a lot more people. So kind of my focus has been to like highlight those things. So throughout the years, I've done, ginger beer. I've done fermented sodas. I've done tahuino, which is like a fermented corn drink. Some of these more unique fermentations, rice wine, like you mentioned, like I think that are easier to do in like a kitchen that somebody like anybody
Oh,
can
okay.
do, and might be a good jumping or stepping stone into beer. So I've kind of tried to highlight those, and those have kind of been becoming more of my focus, or at least I'm trying to dedicate like more of my time to doing those because I feel like they have the potential to reach more people.
Okay. So since you've incorporated like other fermented beverages, have you seen like a big spike in viewership, or has it just become more of like just a gradual, like just like one offs here and there?
It depends,
Okay.
but definitely like, I think last year I did, a ginger soda, and then right after or right before that, I did like a alcoholic ginger beer. They're both, made with a ginger bug, which if you're not familiar with ginger bug, it's basically like you take chopped ginger, sugar, and water, and you mix it together, and it's kinda like a sourdough starter. It's like it has natural yeast and bacteria on it, and then when you add that to like a sugary liquid, it'll ferment it. So I use that to power like the fermentation to make homemade soda, just using the ginger bug, and then I made an alcoholic version of the ginger soda as well. And those two videos back to get back, they did like really like some of the best videos on my channel. And so I was like, okay, there's definitely something here. People are into this kind of like weird fermentations like I am.
Yeah.
So I need to like be trying these things out.
So I'm kind of curious. So like, I believe you did a kombucha, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So how did that one do for your channel?
That one was a little slow growing, but it has become like one of the most viewed videos.
Okay.
And it's a thing I think I find that like something like that is like I call it like evergreen, or it's just like something that is always searchable. People are always trying to like learn how to do kombucha. Um, and I think it has a much wider audience compared to like beer. So that video has done well. And I've been meaning to like remake it, almost like bring it to like a modern,
Okay. Yeah.
days, kind of like update it a little bit. But yeah, I still love that video. It's doing really well.
So are you making hard kombucha, or is it just kombucha itself?
So I mainly make just regular kombucha, but I did do a hard kombucha video. I made a cherry hard kombucha.
Yeah.
And that was good. It was a little more complicated though. It took a little more steps because you would think, oh, you just make kombucha, you add like brewer's yeast, beer yeast to it, and it'll become hard kombucha. And I think that will work, but it's so acidic. It's such an acidic fermentation that there's some extra steps you have to take to get to like a good final tasting product.
Gotcha, gotcha. So this is kind of like a little advice question here for someone who wants to start brewing channel, but feels like the space is just a little too overcrowded. What kind of advice would you get them, and how should they start?
I don't think I think they should just go for it. I think that there's never enough. I mean, I know when I was starting out, I was just like reaching out to like everybody else that was also starting, even channels that were bigger than me, and everybody was so like welcoming. When I started, I reached out to CH from
Hmm.
Homebrew for Life.
Hmm.
He was like, "Come on down to San Diego, let's hang out." Like, I feel like the community around homebrewing is very like positive and welcoming, and there's always room for more. And I would just say, like, whatever you do, just bring your own spin to it. Just try and make something that that you're interested in. and kind of tell your story through homebrewing, and I think you'll do well.
I love
Yeah.
that answer. So you brought up community. So let's kind of jump into your community that you have. Besides YouTube, you also have a Discord
Yeah.
community called the BrewSho, which I'm a member as well.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. So you to have that kind of thing. So how did that get started?
I was just like kind of hearing about Discord. I saw a few other people were like non-beer stuff were starting Discord, just like kind of build a community outside of the videos and kind of give them a chance to like interact with their community a little more. So I thought I'd give it a try, and yeah, people have loved it. I haven't been as like active as I would hope to be in there, but I love to see that people are using it and people are meeting each other, and like, if I'm not there to answer the question, somebody else jumps in and help them out. So I think that's great.
Hey, that's really cool. Yeah, I mean, yeah, having a full-time job and doing YouTube on the side, I mean, it eats up like 80% of your life, I feel like. So I totally understand. Because I thought
Yeah,
about
yeah,
doing like a Discord channel as well too, but I just don't have the time to really give it the dedication that it would need, right? So maybe in the future I may start something like that up, and I think it was kind of cool. But
yeah.
I was kind of curious about correct me if I'm wrong. I believe I read on the form like you don't belong to a homebrew club. Is there a reason behind it, or is it just time? Or
It's probably just time, I would say. There are a few here in San Diego. I've actually met quite a few people that are in homebrew clubs. There's one in San Diego called Quaff, which is a pretty big one. And I just haven't found the time to go. I would love to go. I think there's probably a lot that I could still learn from, like, especially people that have been doing this for a lot longer than I have. But I just haven't. I feel maybe also partially because there is such a strong community on like Discord or on the YouTube channel that I feel like I have kind of like a homebrew club in some ways, but I would love to get more of that in person interaction too. So I'm not like opposed to homebrew clubs. I just haven't made the jump to one.
yeah, so
Yeah.
they're fun. I actually belong to in this general region. One is kind of backed off on teaching. It's an older group. They started in '95, and so these people have like 30 some odd years experience. So it's
Yeah.
really cool to learn from them. But then the other one I belong to is a little newer. And there is like you learn so much stuff, and like presentations are awesome. So like I'm sure
Right.
you've done a lot of research on your like on water chemistry and probably hops, alpha acids, blah
Mhm.
blah blah. But it's neat to have somebody just teach you that kind of stuff, so you don't have to sit there and try to figure it all out yourself. Like, so we have
Yeah.
one person who is he does I can't remember his degree now, but I know he's like a chemical engineer, and he works mainly with water. And he gave a brilliant like dissertation on water, but like, it's kind of over our heads on like
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff, but it's still really neat because he was super passionate about it. It was really cool. There was one gentleman, actually, he just won second place at a competition here recently, well, mead. And so he went through all the steps of mead, and I think mead is one of those things like it's a beverage you can make it as complicated as you want, and it can be as easy as you want because
Yeah.
mead is pretty forgiving overall. I feel like Kobe, he is very like, is to follow these steps. But it was really neat to see that because when I was watching like these videos, like the videos are like, just honey, water, yeast, boom, you're done. He's like, oh no,
Yeah.
you got to do this. You got to feed it every so often. You got to degas it. You got to like, oh my gosh, that's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the benefit of having homebrew club is you have like direct access to these people to like ask them like questions. Like I'll probably message somebody on like Instagram, be like, what am I doing wrong here? Message apartment brewer. He knows what's going on.
Oh gosh, yeah, he's a good guy. He's a real good guy. So I'm
Yeah.
kind of curious, has any Discord member ever made one of your fermentation beverages and reported back to you?
Yeah, yeah, I've had a few
Okay,
people report back. A l Surprisingly, a lot of people, like, they do the rice wine will come in and, like, talk about, like
okay,
they'll either, like, have questions about it or they'll, show pictures of it. I love seeing that. Anytime anybody makes, like, something of mine, I love hearing about it because not only do I like them seeing, like, I just made the recipe, but also, like, I made your recipe and then I added this onto it, which I think is super cool. Like, this is how I, improved it or took it to the next level, which I think is awesome.
exactly. Yeah, like there's one gentleman I talked to. He's like, he's like, I can live 1,000 years and can never make every possible combination of beverages, right? Because stuff
Yeah,
changes so fast. I mean, like how many hot varieties come out in the past 5 years?
I know. Yeah, seriously. I
It's
know, and I'm so
insane.
bad. I just pick the same hops that I, have used for years, but I gotta
Pick what you like.
branch out and try some new stuff. Yeah.
I want to try some of the New Zealand hops. It's kind of where I want to go. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
later this year, maybe next year. 'Cause like I said, I have a board. I'm kind of looking at right now. I just have stuff I want to make this year. So I got to
Oh,
get
cool.
that done before I jump to other stuff. So I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I don't have ADHD, or maybe I do, but I see like a new shiny thing I kind of want to jump towards. I'm like, oh, that sounds
yeah.
really cool.
I'm the same way.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Great minds just think alike.
Yeah.
So, we kind of been talking about like some of your weird and wild fermentations. We talked about your cider kombucha,
Mhm.
the sake, the ginger beer. Which one surprised you the most when you first made it?
All right. Let's see. I did a video called Tuhuino. I mentioned that earlier, which is you basically take masa harina, which is like ground cornmeal, and you add sugar, lime, and it ferments on its own. Just those ingredients, like
Okay,
by itself, will ferment, and it creates this kind of like sweet, sour, like a little bit savory, and it was just so unique, nothing like I've ever had, and luckily I live in, like, San Diego, so I have lots of access to great Mexican food, and, like, there'll be little vendors on the street that sell tejuino, so I got to try it before, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta try and make this," and you just see that it just creates the fermentation within itself, that whatever is, like, on the masa, I guess, there's something there, the yeast and bacteria. So I was surprised by that. And then the other one is tepache, which is another Mexican fermented drink. And that is you just take pineapple, usually take the pineapple skin. So if you're like cutting up a pineapple, you can save the skins from that and ferment. So pineapple skins, water, brown sugar or piloncillo, which is like a pressed a pressed cane sugar, and cinnamon. And you just put that in a fermenter and let it go for about a week, and it ferments, and
that sounds
it's
delightful.
amazing. It is so good. That is, like, something if you've never, like, tried anything that's non-beer related, try Tepache. Even if you're just, messing around, you buy pineapple, give it a go. It's surprisingly really good.
So what is that, like a gallon size? I'm assuming you make with
I
that.
usually make, like, a big gallon size, yeah.
Okay, yeah,
And you
that'd be
can
perfect.
bottle it up, and it'll get fizzy in the bottles because it just
Mm,
continues to ferment,
mhm.
and then I highly recommend you take, like, a light lager and a bit of Tepache, mix them together 50-50. It's amazing.
So like a unique rattler.
Exactly, yeah, it's good,
That's
it's, like, re
awesome.
very refreshing.
So which one had like the steepest learning curve to them?
Steepest learning curve, probably the rice wine just because I knew nothing about, like, how rice wine is made. It's a little bit it's very similar to beer in some ways, and it's different in a lot. So, um you use what's called a koji, which is basically a fungus, a microbe that you put on steamed rice. And in the right conditions, it will ferment the yeast and it basically converts the starches in the rice into sugars that can then be fermented into alcohol. And there was a lot of like steps, I had to make sure I steam the rice just right. You don't want to like overcook it or stuff like that. It's got to ferment in the right temperatures. Um, Once I kind of figured that out, though, it was pretty easy. You just add yeast. You can add hops or citric acid to help with the preservation. But I was surprised at how like good homemade rice wine can be. And I'm actually working on another rice wine video, a Korean rice wine video right now, and I'm
Mm,
excited for that.
interesting. Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. It's,
Yeah.
is there any other wild or weird for fermentations on your bucket list you've not got to yet?
One that I've really wanted to do is called chicha,
Okay.
which is a Peruvian fermented drink, and
Okay.
it's essentially, I mean, traditionally made. They would take corn and they would chew it and then spit it into a bucket, and the enzymes that are in your mouth would then ferment the corn like liquid into like a fermented drink. So I sat here and thought about like, do I add enzymes that I buy from like homebrew store and just do like that, or do I actually try chewing and spitting into a bucket, or will people be way too grossed out and click off?
Oh, I love that. That'd be such a good video though. It's like I started to do this, but
Yeah. Maybe I do it both ways and I just
oh, that'd be hilarious.
yeah, see how it goes.
Or you can start out the video like you're filming yourself like chewing and spitting and like going, forget this and go do it the other way.
Yeah. I mean, nobody would wanna drink it besides me, I feel like. I don't know. Can't get my
Yeah,
wife
oh,
to
that
drink
is
that
interesting. Yeah, because
one.
like I guess it's a community beverage, right? I'm guessing.
Yeah. I
right?
think so. Yeah.
That'd be interesting because I always thought it was kind of weird. I guess just kind of go back to wine for a second. Like, you watch older movies, like the Italians, they get the grapes, they stomp on them with their feet, all that kind of stuff. I was like, always
Yeah.
kind of wonder what kind of unique flavors from their feet got into the
Right.
wine themselves, right? Because I'm sure they
Yeah.
washed them, but
Yeah. I know. I know. And like the alcohol, I guess, helps a little bit, but you're always wondering, like, what else is in there?
you got some toe jam floating around.
Yeah.
So we've all had disasters.
hmm
But I feel like yours is pretty interesting, especially the height of it all. So you had a kombucha, I guess, explosion happen. Can you walk us through that day?
I think a lot of people have probably seen the video of people opening kombucha bottles and they shoot all over the place. And that is pretty much my story. First starting out kombucha, this was before I was doing the channel. And I didn't know, like, so when you for bottle ferment anything really, you want to leave it on the counter for a few days to build the pressure. The fermentation continues in the bottle and it builds pressure. But you want to take that bottle and put it in the cold because the cold will help the carbonation absorb into the bottle. If you open it when it's warm, it's gonna just geyser everywhere. And that's what happened to me. I was living in my apartment in Chicago
Hmm.
and I didn't know. I was just like, oh, these have been sitting out for a day. Let's open it up, popped it open, and my whole ceiling was just
Coated.
covered
Oh my gosh.
in it was like berry kombucha too, so it was red just all over the ceiling. I was like, "Okay, I don't know what happened. I thought I did something wrong, but now
Mhm.
no, like, looking back, it's like, okay, you gotta chill those out before you open them up."
Yeah, I bet you that cleanup was just horrible, though. I couldn't even imagine.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. I've had, like, it happening also with, beer, like, I'm storing beer. I was storing in my closet, just, like, aging it,
Mhm,
and,
mhm.
I just, like, I heard a big pop noise one day, and then I was like, "What was that?" Looking around, didn't find it, and then, like, a few days later, I was looking in my closet, and, like, just this whole area was soaked in beer, like, smelled horrible. I was like, "Oh, man, this is
Oh,
not good."
yeah, that's horrible. I've,
Yeah.
knock on wood, I've only had a couple bottles burst on me, but from watching a plethora of videos, obviously, I bought myself a really big tote. So I would
Oh, yeah.
put all the beer in the tote, I put the lid on the tote, I put weights on the tote just in case. So I've only lost a few, but I hurried up. It was straight into the kegging as soon as possible. Like,
Yes, yes.
washing 50 bottles at a time was not a very a fun adventure.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's always good to get into kegging as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But the thing that I did learn was, like, there is a priming calculator, which the priming sugar tells you how much to add, and the big key was, like, temperature. So it's like it says, like, note the temperature that impacts how much sugar to add, but it was the temperature I didn't realize is the highest temperature that your fermentation gets. It's not what your temperature of your fermentation is now. So you kinda have to be tracking your fermentation along and know, like, if it hits, like, if it randomly hits, like, 86 degrees one day, that's the temperature that you should be putting in your priming calculator.
That's
So,
interesting. I didn't know that. That's
pro
interesting.
tip.
Yeah, that is a good tip. Yeah, because I mean, I still bottle condition like a couple beers, or I'll pour off a couple beers off the keezer and I'll put those up for like later on. I have like a saison that's like a year and a half old. I have like a few
Oh,
bottles.
yeah.
I just want to see how long I can age it for before it gets weird.
Yeah,
So
for sure. Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna try one probably in July or so, and then I think that's almost the 2 year mark, and then maybe I started weird some weird like I don't know stuff kind of building up at the bottom. Like there's always like that little yeast layer, but there's something like these little columns of spiky things popping up. So
Oh,
I'm not
interesting.
sure
Yeah.
exactly what that is, and I'll try to take a picture of it one day and see if I can see if I can ask other people what they think of it.
Yeah. Or you just open up and find out. I think it's
Yeah,
one of those things, like, it'll get better, 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 and then one day it'll just fall off and
fall off. Yeah,
be
it's
yeah.
gross. It's vinegar now.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So I guess another like advice question here to ask, like what is one thing people need to understand about fermentation safety before they start experimenting?
Um, I think cleanliness is, like, probably the biggest thing, and it doesn't necessarily mean, like, sanitizer, although if you are, like, a home brewer and you have access to sanitizer, it doesn't hurt to sanitize everything that comes in contact with your fermentation, so the fermenter, if you're using spoons and stuff like that, that is always helpful, but just being clean, using cleaning your, fermenter with even if it's soap and water, if you're just making, like, ginger beer, for example, and also cleaning the thing that you're getting the yeast from, so with ginger beer, I always emphasize like wash the ginger first because you don't know what's on the outside of the ginger. It's gone through the grocery store and touched who knows how many hands and stuff like that. So make sure you wash it first. There's still going to be plenty of yeast and bacteria on the inside and on the skins and stuff like that. You just want to get the bad stuff out of the way because the bad stuff is what's going to lead to like weird fermentations where you're getting mold or you're getting unique yeast strains, like bacteria that does weird things that you don't want. So you want to get the good lactobacillus, and that usually will survive, or at least there'll be plenty enough in like whatever you're using to power the fermentation.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I was always kind of curious why people watch the ginger, but that does make sense because, again, like you said, you have no idea who has handled that
Yeah,
ginger
I
at
mean,
the
I've
end of the day. So
I've forgotten to do it. I've skipped it, and then it'll I'll get like nice white frothy, get little fuzzies on top. And like you just got to start over. I just luckily ginger's not too expensive, but
no,
might
it's
as
not
well.
at all. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I have a question. That's kind of popped in my head. So have you ever tried to take your tapache and mix it with like the ginger beer and see what you come up with that?
Well, I haven't done that. That would be really cool.
Uh,
I've not tried that. What I have done is I did a dragon fruit tapache. So I
okay,
did dragon fruit and pineapple, and that turned out really good. That was
that
like a
sounds good. Yeah,
pink, and then it was like had that dragon fruit flavor. That was
yeah.
great. But I haven't
Oh,
tried ginger bug. That'd be a cool idea.
it'd be kind of interesting because like, I know ginger beer has a nice little heat, spicy nose to it, and everything
Yeah.
like that. And I've never had tabache, but I'm trying to imagine what you said. Like, you have like the pineapple peel, then the brown sugar. So I'm just trying to
Mhm.
imagine like those kind of flavors. I'm sure it's not
It would
super
work great.
sweet, but it's maybe a little on the sweeter side. So it may mellow the ginger beer, but still have that little bite to it. I don't know. Sounds neat to me,
Yeah,
anyways.
I think those would work great together. That you should do it. You should
There you go. I'll
do
do
that and post
it.
it on your
I'll do both at once. I don't know, fail at
Okay.
the same time. So I guess we're kind of talking about recipes right now. So let's kind of get into like some of your like recipe development that you kind of like to go through. So are you
Yeah.
using like notes or spreadsheets or software to kind of keep track as you're developing stuff, or do you kind of write it on paper and then transfer it to something later on?
I usually start on paper. I just have like a notebook that I'll write little things on, and then I use Brewfather to
Okay,
kind of
that's a good
write
one.
my
Yeah.
recipes. And during my research process, I'm looking at what are other people. If it's a specific beer style, I'm looking at how are other people making this beer style. What's the recipe in BYO or Zymergy or things like that. I'm looking at those recipes and kind of like figuring out, do I want to copy somebody straight up, or do I want to pull aspects from each of them to kind of build out the recipe. And I love in Brewfather, it tells you, you can select the style and then like, are you in the right range for all these things? And so I usually go that way about it. But it's usually it starts with an inspiration of some kind, either a beer that I've tried that I really want to try replicating, or something I've never tried that I want to try for the first time, or if it's just like weird flavors that I want to mix together. Something is usually sparks the inspiration for that.
There you go. So okay, so kind of going back to what you just said just a second ago about like taking someone's like I guess base recipe. Oh,
Yeah.
do you find in your earlier days, do you find yourself doing that to begin with to see what the beer tastes like before you start adding your own twist, or were you like, I'll just add my own twist anyways to this?
I kind of was just doing my own twist.
Okay,
I would take like a recipe and maybe take like 90-80% of it, but then put my own little spin on it. Or I didn't want to be like outright copying, especially as posting like videos. I wanted to like make it my own. Nowadays, nowadays I'm a bit more like, let me see how that one. Somebody's already perfected this recipe. Why am I trying to make my life harder? So I'll just brew it. So like I did an alt beer recipe last year, and my friend Josh over at the the other podcast, Josh Stubing, he does
oh,
Homebrew Happy Hour.
yeah, here we
Yes,
go.
he's a big alt beer guy. I was like, do you have a recipe? And he's like, yeah. So I just took his recipe and I brewed it, and it made a great beer. So like for things that I think someone's perfected, I'll just go for it nowadays. But when I started out, I was trying to like build my own path a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that for I guess for like the YouTube channel because you can describe I guess maybe what the base recipe could be, and this is my own little twist to it. I find myself like if I never had the beer style, or if I can't find it here locally, like I'll find a recipe and I'll just make theirs. So like put like a 2 or 3 gallon
Yeah,
batch of it, so I know what it kind of tastes like. And if I enjoy it, then I'm like okay, well maybe I'll try some different hops. just to kind of change it up just, just a little
Yeah,
bit. I think that's kind of fun. I love smash beers. I think smash beers are like, especially
that's
if you're
great.
first starting out, I think that's a great way to learn base malts and hop characteristics.
Yes, for
Because you
sure.
read all you want until you make it yourself. You don't
Yeah,
really understand what's going on, I don't feel like.
yeah, and not only that is then you start changing the yeast too.
Oh,
You
yeah,
get all
you can.
kinds of different flavors and stuff like that. So
Yep.
yeah,
It's
for sure.
it's a fun way to doing it, because, like, what was it? So I found out I really enjoy Mare's Otter and, Mosaic
Mhm.
hops. I
Okay, yeah,
like that combination. It's such a good I basically make, like, American Pale Ale with it for the most part. I think it hits about, like, 40 IBU or something like that. I dry hop just
yeah,
a little bit, but I do like the berry notes I kinda get from it, right? So,
yeah. I
I've,
was gonna ask, like, do you get berry notes from it? Because some people say berry, some people, aren't getting the berry, but it's like a different thing. It's not like overtly berry. I
no,
feel like
it's
with
not
some,
at all.
yeah.
But I feel like a lot of it's I'm not a judge by any means. I don't know if I'll ever be a judge, but I feel like it's so subjective to the individual for like
Mhm.
taste and stuff like that. I don't think all of our taste buds are exactly aligned.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where it gets kind of confusing. I also find myself I can be a little subjective by people telling me what they taste like. So again, like how you asked, like, do I pick
Oh
up
yeah.
berries? And I do. But if I drank it, like, oh, I'm getting berries, and you're like, well, you may question yourself, like, do I taste berries? And you'll take another sip. Well, maybe I
Oh
do
yeah.
taste the berry because like you've heard someone else explain it. I find myself doing that quite often as well too, like with homebrew clubs. But I have to search for that flavor though. Like I'd sit there, I get a drink, I gotta swish it around. I'm like, I don't know if I actually get this or not.
Yeah. One of the most interesting experiences I had was at the Homebrew Con in San Diego. The Brulosophy guys were there, and they were doing the Hop Chronicles, and they had some hop that I had never like heard of, but it was like you just taste the beer, and then they give you like this thing to fill out. Like, what are you tasting? But it has every descriptor you could ever think of, and you're really like sitting there by yourself, like, what? It could be any of these things, like as you're reading it, but you really had to like narrow it down. I hope they do that at this homebrew con. They bring a little Hop
Fun.
Chronicles because that would be a cool thing to
Yeah.
try. See what
It'd
they.
be a blast. Yeah, I get. Another thing I've not done yet, and I want to do. I want to do like off flavor tasting.
Oh yeah.
I
Mhm.
think that would be kind of fun. Hopefully my homebrew club. I brought it up to them that I like. I always miss it every time they bring it up. I was like, but I
Yeah.
really want to try this out. I want to see because I've tasted some weird off flavors before, but I want to get more comfortable with that kind of stuff. So because we try to support the breweries around here, so we kind of travel to the breweries. And
Yeah.
sometimes like I'm getting whatever flavor I'm getting Band-Aid or I'm getting, weird like green apple flavor or a grassy note. And I'm like going, okay,
Mm.
are these not supposed to be there? I was like, I was trying to figure all these things out. So I think
Yeah.
because basically what you do is you buy like a cheap or not 6 pack, but you buy like a cheap case of like Keystone Light or Natural Light or something
Mm.
like that. And then you just put a couple of drops of these off flavors. Um,
Yeah. Mhm.
so you get the idea. I thought about buying them myself, but it's like, it's not too expensive. It's like $80 a kit, but I'll
Mm.
never use it all up. Like, so I only need a couple drops, and I'll have the rest of the stuff for probably till the day I die. And I don't need all that stuff.
Yeah, right.
I am kind of curious about like what ingredient or additions has surprised you the most when you're making some of your uh fermentations.
Like non-beer ingredient, like
Yeah,
a adjunct
yeah.
or um, what ingredient has surprised me the most? Um, well, I made a peanut butter porter a few years ago,
Okay.
and I used the powdered peanut butter, like PB2. Have you messed with that?
No,
Or
no. I watched that video. That was a great one.
okay, okay. And that was surprising. What was surprising was how strong the flavor was in like the first 2 to 3 weeks of drinking that beer. But as it aged, I don't know if it just like continued, there was something in it that just fermented or settled out, but the peanut butter really fell off over
Huh,
time. So it
okay.
was super fresh in the first like month, but then if it lasted more than that, it started to just really fall off. Something I would love to like go back and experiment with. I think taste some like peanut butter extracts, but the extracts can be so like they taste artificial. You're tasting, whereas that PB2 really did have a great peanut butter flavor. It also did like absorb a ton, so like the bottom like bit of my keg or fermenter was like all peanut butter sludge.
Mud.
But that was cool. I love like trying weird things like that. So
Yeah, that
It was
video
cool.
was I remember that one 'cause I remember your dog coming out and just, like, licking up all the the, PBW on the ground. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Because my dog's about the
No.
same size. My dog's like 8 pounds, but I have a tiny
Oh,
little
wow.
dog. Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
she's a
uh-huh.
tiny little thing.
Yeah,
That's
I
such a
know.
good video, such a good video. So I guess I'm just kinda curious, like, what do you have on tap right now?
Right now, I only have one beer on tap, and it is it's what I'm drinking right now. It is a hoppy pilsner. So this is my most recent video that I posted. It is pretty much 100% pilsner malt. I have a little bit of corn sugar in there to just like ferment it a little drier, and then it was like Citra, Simcoe, CTZ, and Cascade.
Hmm,
And I did a whirlpool and I did dry hop, so it's super hoppy, but also very light and crisp, easy to drink. And then I also have some hop water, and I have sparkling water as well. So right now it's I don't have a lot of things. My wife is currently pregnant, so it's like I gotta have some things on tap that she can enjoy, and
exactly.
she's not helping me drink all this right now. So
So what kind of hop water do you have on tap?
I have just like a rotating hop water. I did a hop water video a couple years ago, um, where I did a bunch of experiments with like different salt additions, like using different, lime versus you know, just adding salts or not adding anything, or do you add the hops? Do you boil the hops? Do you, steep them? Do you just um, dry hop them? And I found a recipe that I found was like the closest what I get from like the I think the hoppy refreshers or the
Mhm.
hop waters, the
Yeah, hop water,
professional
yeah.
ones.
Yeah, that's what I have,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Is that what you drink? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So there was a recipe that I felt like closely emulated those, and that's kind of been my go-to recipe. I think right now I have I think it's a Citra hop water
Okay.
on tap.
That sounds pretty
But
good.
yeah, I just kind of rotate. I just like whatever I have a bunch of hops of,
'Cause you
I
gotta
go
get
to the
rid of 'em,
next
yep,
one.
that's
Yeah.
perfect, yeah. I kinda wanna start doing so I made hop water once, but I feel like I think I steeped the hops, like, in boiling water, and then, from there, I pour that into a keg, fill it up with water, but I found it to be super, super bitter, and I didn't really care for it. It was just too much for me, so I think by boiling it, extracted too much of the
Yeah.
bitterness out of it, so
That's pretty much what I found too. Was like if you add any kind of heat, it just makes it you're extracting too much bitterness. So I just dry hop in water. Mm, Just have like a gallon. If I'm doing a gallon size, I'll do a gallon. I think I do like 4 grams of whatever hop it is. Just dry hop it overnight, and
okay.
then I add a little bit of lime just to give it a little bit of zip,
Mhm.
and just kind of help make it a little tastier. And that's all I really
That's
do, and it tastes great. I experimented, like, with all the different calcium chloride and all the other gypsum, and I just felt like it wasn't adding enough for me to be like, okay, it's worth my time to do these things.
Were
Yeah.
you bringing the water up to, like, room temperature before you dry hopped it, or you just whatever the tap water was?
Um.
Or
Yeah, just whatever the tap water was. I wasn't thinking too much about that.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
kinda curious. I think I might try that because, like I said, I'm not drinking beer for a while, so buying these things, I'll save a little money.
Yeah. Give it a go. Yeah. Check out the video too. I mean, you
Okay.
can see all the different experiments I did
Alright.
and make your decision for yourself.
There you go, perfect. So I kinda wanna get to your do it, your DIY side, your maker side as
Yeah.
well. So you
Mhm.
3D printed some tap handles. I love that video. I watched it. I did it as well. The bad thing was, the software for those, ink or e-ink boards
Yeah.
doesn't support Samsungs.
No. Oh,
So what I
damn.
had to do is I actually found a project on GitHub, and I'm a programmer by trade, so I took his old code, had to update it
Mhm.
all to get it to work, so I can actually use them. So I guess besides those tap handles, like what was the first thing that you 3D printed for your brewery?
The first thing I 3D printed was, I actually did it through a library because my local library had a 3D printer, and I went through just there for like looking books one day, and I was like, "Wait, they have one of these things?" And so I found the file on like Maker World or one of those websites, Printful, and it was I actually have like right here similar version, but it's this little thing that holds
Hmm,
your hydrometer in this side to dry it, and then the hydrometer tube on this side to just dry them after you use them. And so I sent it over to like the library and they printed it out. And the issue was like, they're not sitting there twiddling the different perimeters to make it like get it just right. So it was a little like warped and stuff, but I was like, that's so cool that you can like print something that, you don't have. And I was like, I got to try and get one. So I picked a printer up and then I found the file. I kind of modified it a bit. And then this was like the first thing I printed for my home brewery. And I was like, okay,
Oh,
there's
that's so
definitely
cool.
something here. I should explore a little more. And then I
Yeah.
ended up making a video about all the things I printed.
Oh, yep, I do remember that one as well too. Yeah, I was pretty impressed with the one you just showed. I believe I printed that one as well too. I just wanted to see more for like drying time.
Yeah.
Like, does it dry faster or anything like that? I've only got to use it once so far because I haven't brewed anything in a while. So have you taught yourself like AutoCAD or anything like that, or do you just
I like the free version of Autodesk Fusion, so
okay?
I'll
Yeah,
mess around in there, but I mainly, find things on other people have made, and
same
but
here.
there's a few things that I've made myself that I put up as well.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, it is fun. One of my best friends, he gave me a 3D printer, but I just haven't had time to learn CAD. So, like you, I just kind of jump around, see what looks neat. I'm like, all right, I'll just print this. But I mean, I've
Yeah,
learned a lot. Like, you got to store the filament. You got to make sure
yeah.
it's dry conditions and all that kind of fun stuff. So that's another like babysitting hobby, I guess.
Yeah, another hobby with a bunch of gear that,
Yep. As another hobby, be expensive as you want it to be too, right? 'Cause
Yeah, that's true.
home brewing
Yeah.
can be fairly cheap. It can be you can spend $130 to get a kit, make beer, or you can spend 10 grand to make a nano brewery in your garage, right? So it just depends how much money you have. I kind of want to get into woodworking as well too, because I enjoy woodworking. I've done it off and on my whole life
Cool.
since like seventh grade when I took a like wood shop. So what have you built for your brewery and what are you currently or what are you planning on building for?
And this is my newest brewery.
So cool.
I've been here for about 8 months, I would say. And my previous two, since the start of the channel, I've been in two other places, and neither one of them really had like dedicated. This is a garage actually, so I never had like a dedicated brew space. So once we moved in here, I was like, this is the spot, where everything you can tell in the video, but there's a little like this is all inset a little bit, so it's like perfect. Um, and so I knew I wanted like some kind of accent wall, so I built this accent wall here. It's just furring strips and a little LED strip behind it that's like connected to like my smart home that I can turn on and off and stuff like that. And I put in like lights and stuff in here. Um, and that's besides that. I mean, I put up some shelving. I haven't really built a ton for my brewery. I mean, these things, you can't really tell it here, but you can kind of see it on the corner here.
Uh-huh.
There's a little like thing that I have my fermenters on.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
just kind of little like storage things here and there. I definitely like, would love to like build some more stuff. I just need to like think of like what to do.
Yeah.
But I love it. I love to like, I mean, just like home brewing, like making something with your hands and being, such a tactical like hobby, like being able to like have the final product in front of you it's awesome.
That's
So
really cool.
I
Yeah.
love making of any kind.
Yep. No, it is a fun hobby. Like, I've made all sorts of things throughout the years, but the only thing I've done really for my brewery is made out of wood. Is for my keezer, I made a collar, but besides
Oh,
the
cool.
collar, I also have like I call it like an apron. So it's basically it's solid wood, but it is as wide as my keezer and probably about 4 feet down. So that way I can mount the drip tray to that as well too. And it actually
Right.
looks really nice because I use Danish oil to stain the wood and I painted my keys are black. So it has that nice Danish oil look to it with the black in the background. Like it looks pretty sharp. I think it does
Oh,
anyways.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's nice.
It's
Yeah.
fun. The one thing I hate about woodworking is all the sanding you got to do. That takes up like all your time, but like
Yeah.
everything else is a blast.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Actually, I'm meaning to make a coffee table. That's my next project for like the home. So
Yeah.
I got to get started on that, but I know that'll be a lot of like sanding, run off those corners so that,
Yes. See, yep.
not
Oh,
not
yeah.
hitting my knee on it.
Well, you got a kid on the way too, so you got to make sure it's
That
fed
too.
as
Yeah.
well too, right? So, are you going to
Yeah.
use
Yeah.
more like a fancier wood? You're going to try to get like walnut or red oak or
Yeah. I'm
something?
I'm thinking walnut. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, walnut's just a pretty wood, nice soft
Yeah.
tones, and yeah, you're gonna
Yeah.
have fun with it. You have a good time. Just
Cool.
make sure you wear a good mask because I know walnut. You
Yeah.
may,
Some people are allergic to it, right?
yeah, there's that too, and it can also do something to your lungs. And I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's something you want to wear like a good mask, like a good
Okay.
or even get like a respirator if you have one of those when you're saying, or do it
Okay.
outside as well too. So there's you kind
Yeah.
of blow
Okay.
away. There's
Yeah.
another one that's kind of rough on the lungs too. I can't remember. I think it's ironwood. Maybe it might be it,
Okay.
but it's just a
All
tough
right.
wood to work with, anyways. Like it's like you need some
Yeah.
pretty good, like brand new blades and everything to cut through it. It's really tough.
Okay. Yeah.
Just some free advice for me.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Speaking of advice, so for a home brewer who wants to start building their own equipment, um, what is like the lowest barrier to entry point that you could think of?
Um, I would say like the brew in a bag, small brew in a bag setup is probably the way that I recommend most people to start. Um, Essentially just getting even if you might even already have this, but it's like a stock pot, and then you just get a small muslin bag. They sell them in homebrew stores. They're usually like a couple bucks, $2 maybe. And then you start there. You can make you make these small 3 gallon batches, but you can start with like 1 gallon batches, and make like fermenters. I have like a little bucket fermenter, that I got from Home Depot. They sell these little 2 gallon bucket fermenter or buckets that you can turn into fermenters. Um, and I think once you have that set up, that you can go a long way with that, especially if you're just using like Kveik yeast. You can ferment in any temperature. You can essentially brew almost any beer style you can think of, as long as you get creative with the recipe.
Yep.
So I think brew in a bag is absolutely the way to go. I mean, that's the way I started with the Mr. Beer kits, but once I found Brew in a Bag, it leveled up. I mean, I went to all grain and that leveled up in itself, but being able to do it on in my kitchen, brew the beer like that. I mean, was great and was making great beer.
Yeah, I love brewing a bag. Yeah, like I said, I went from I did an extract kit, then I just jumped in. I just did brewing a bag. Just this is so much fun. It's so much easier. And I was like, it's like I know how to steep tea, so I can do this because basically that's
Yeah,
all you're really
exactly.
doing, right? You check. So I
Exactly.
have a timer. I like, so I may mash for, let's say if I do an hour mash, I'll set a timer for every 15, 20 minutes. Just make sure the temperature it's still within range. But if I do like a half hour match, I'm not really that too concerned about it for the most part. I just let it do its thing and go, just be done with it, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. And I feel like, especially a lot of the modern equipments, like the clamps and stuff, they're
Mm,
essentially just brewing a bag but electric. So like if you get those skills of brewing a bag on your stove and you love it and you want to continue, there's plenty of options to upgrade from there. But
yes, there is. There's so much. Yeah. Just like we said earlier, it could be as expensive as you want it to be.
exactly,
If you
yeah,
got the
yeah.
money, blow it. So speaking of money, let's kind of talk about your gear because I do have a couple of gearheads that's
Hmm.
in my community itself. So you listed you're shooting with a Canon R7 and an Audio Technica mic. How did you land on that combo?
Uh, yeah, I like it. The R7, for the gearheads, the R7 is a crop sensor. So I have to compensate for that. It's a little bit more like zoomed in. But I use like nice lenses. I have like Canon L series lenses. I think that adds like a nice cinematic look to some of the footage I shoot. And then yeah, I use the Audio Technica for like my voiceovers, which I think works great. And then I right now I'm using like the little Hollyland like lavalier mics.
Okay, yeah.
Uh, and yeah, it works good. I mean,
That's
it
really cool.
it gets the job done. It's not too complicated, you know?
No, it's not at all. Yeah, no, I was. I guess you listed it, and I was like, well, I got to ask about it.
Yeah, yeah. I think the big thing was, like, tripod, like, I got a nice
Oh,
tripod that I can get, like, smooth shots and stuff like that, and, that helped out a lot.
so is it like hydraulic or something like that? The tripod to make it smooth,
No,
or
it's just like a it's called a fluid head. It has fluid inside the head of the tripod, so when you move it, there's a little bit of, like, resistance and fluidity to the movement, so
so cool. Yeah, I know nothing
yeah.
about that world, but it sounds neat.
Yeah.
So I guess I like another quick little like advice question here. So for brewers who want to start documenting their own process, but feel like their setup isn't good enough, what is the honest like barrier to entry for someone that again is worth buying, like equipment wise?
So this person has been brewing a little bit, and they wanna take, like, the next step. Is that
Yeah,
your
so they kind of want to document like the process. Maybe they'll maybe start a YouTube channel, record it, and stuff like that. Like, so what would be like the minimum like equipment that they should buy?
Oh, I mean, these days, like, the iPhone, the smartphones are so good, like, I I bet, like, a lot of people I mean, most of the people that these other YouTubers, they're using smartphones as well, like, I occasionally use smartphones in my footage as well. They shoot great footage, so I think invest in, like, a tripod, I think would be a great thing to get, and good audio is probably one of the most important things. When I started, I didn't have like a microphone. I was literally recording all my voiceovers on my camera. I'd sit there with my camera and
Okay.
speak into it. So once I got like a good microphone, I feel like the quality kind of stepped up because of that. So I think invest in a good microphone, shoot with what you got until you are feeling like you got the editing skills and all that stuff. And then from there, you can upgrade to like a nice camera
Yeah, that's
if you
good.
want to.
That's good
Yeah.
advice. Yeah, that's awesome. So here we have to talk about this. The new maker channel. Tell us about
Yes.
it. What it is. What is the concept behind it?
Yeah, I actually haven't really like talked about this at all on my main channel. So I just recently started a new channel called Musho Makes, where I'm gonna do like maker projects, building 3D. I'll do some 3D printing. I'll do some woodworking. The first video is up right now. It is I built a, Murphy bed for my guest room, which was it was a lot of work, but it was a fun process to make. And my whole like kind of thesis of the video was like guest bedrooms kind of suck, like they're often a waste of space. There's a big bed in there. You can't really utilize it. So I wanted to build a Murphy bed so that when I don't have guests, most of the year I don't have guests, but when they're not here, I can put the bed up and still use the space. The irony being that now I have a baby on the way and that room is going to turn into a nursery, but still, the bed goes all the way and now it's a
Yep,
nursery.
it's out of the way. That was an issue. I love it. Oh, that's so good. Do you guys know what you're having? I'm just kind of curious. If you don't have to say, if
Yeah,
you don't
we're having
know.
a boy. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So a little buddy to help me in the brewery someday.
Yep. Oh, yeah, so much fun. Oh, yeah. I mean, I miss my babies. I mean, my kids are now 31, 26, and 21.
Wow.
22, sorry. Yeah, he's 22. So like they're all grown. I have a granddaughter, she's 2, so I kind of get to
Wow.
relive that a little bit. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
that
yeah.
part's kind of fun.
Nice.
It goes by so fast, it really does.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess I kind of like a so yeah. So thank you for describing the new maker channel to us. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. So I guess it's kind of like the future of the Brew Show or Trent in general. So you said you have a child on the way. Have you thought about how that's going to impact I guess your brewing, your filming, and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I know it will definitely impact it, and I've already kinda, like, slowed down a little bit on my posting schedule, so I'm hoping that I can at least keep the schedule I have a little bit now, but, I'll just do my best, brew when I can. I'm been asking a lot of people, and maybe you have some advice for me, but it's like, how do you keep brewing when you have, like, responsibilities with the family, when you have young kids? And so I've been trying to figure that out. Maybe there's techniques of like, overnight mashing or like trying different brewing techniques. So
So Steve, that's what he brought up because he has a younger child as well too. I think about the same age as my granddaughter, and that's what he does. He does overnight mashing. So when
mhm,
he's making his videos nowadays, like he films it one day or half of it, and then he finishes it off like the following day. So that
yeah,
may be something you'll have to do. When my kids were pretty much grown for the most part, so I didn't have to worry about that too much. Um, but as your child gets older, it's definitely nice to have an extra pair of hands to like wash and bottle if that's a problem. That is actually definitely nice
right,
to
right,
have.
yeah,
Because when my youngest went off to college, it was just me again. Like, oh man, but I'm happy.
yeah,
I'm proud of him. I'm happy. Other than that, I think it's just you just got to figure out the baby's schedule, and babies change so fast too. So you may have a early morning baby, or you may have a late night baby. So you may have to figure out like, well, what baby do I have? So if you like to brew like early in the mornings, and if your baby sleeps in, maybe you can start like 6 o'clock in the morning, start get your brew day going, or you may have to wait till the
right,
baby goes to bed and start 8 9 o'clock at night. I mean, it's
yeah,
gonna not be fun, but it is what it is, right? You just gotta
yeah,
figure it out. Yeah, but you're gonna
yeah,
have a blast. You guys are gonna have so much fun. You really are.
yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I
Yeah,
think we'll have
yeah.
a good
Well,
time.
I can tell you're the yellow twinkle in your eye. It's awesome. Um, is there any like long term visions for like the Brew Show? Because I know, like you said, like you're releasing videos about once a month now, so you're not really you're not really taking a break. You're just having a consistent, like long form, I guess, kind of content that you're producing. So I guess like, and if you don't have a long term vision, that's totally fine as well too. But I was just kind of curious.
Yeah. Not really. I just want to keep, creating, I think, meaningful and entertaining content. I'm not, the type of person that's just gonna like phone it in to do like a quick video just to post something. I want to make sure that like if you're watching my videos, you're getting something out of it or it's worthwhile for you to watch. So, as long as that feels like it's still happening, then I'm gonna keep posting videos, I'm gonna keep making stuff and trying unique things.
Awesome. Yeah, I know. Congratulations on breaking the, well, 100K. I saw that video
Thank
not so
you.
long ago, too. And I think you're like, was 120 now or two, something like that. Last time I
I think I
looked.
hit I think I hit 120 today, actually, yeah.
Well, definitely congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Dude, that's so awesome. Yeah, like, so I guess I'm kind of curious, like, how did that moment feel when you like hit that? I mean, that's a huge milestone. Because like a lot of the homebrewers I watch, I mean, they may have, let's say, 50,000 or so, so around that range. They kind of like stuck, but your channel just kept it going and going and going. And so I'm just kind of curious, like, when you saw that big old number, like, how did that feel?
It was very surreal because, yeah, there aren't a lot of channels that have, like, reached that point, and even when I started, I was like, "Oh, 100,000, I'll never get there." But I think, like, because I have kinda diversified my content to not be just beering, I'm trying these different unique fermentations, I've kinda opened up to a different audience, a wider audience, so I think that has kinda, like, been part of the reason why I've had such good success, so, that I think that'll always be kind of a backbone of my channel.
And that does make a lot of sense as well, too. So besides your long, well, I can't really call it long form, but your your brew day videos that you're doing, are you doing any clips or shorts on top of it as well too, or is it just the videos?
I try to, I try to. I'm the only editor, it's just me making these videos by myself. So I if I am super passionate about a video, I usually will make like a short to go along with it, just kind of like tease the video, get people excited about it. But it's hard to like find the extra time to make those too. So as of right now, I'm trying my best to do what I can make, but I'm putting most of my energy into the long form YouTube stuff.
God, yeah, because I was kind of curious for like for myself. Was like I've noticed like my shorts are all hit and miss. Like some may get like 2 views, sometimes they'll get 2,000 views, right? So, my clips don't get a whole lot really. I don't. I'd be surprised if they break 20. So again, like, they're like 3 to 5 minutes. They're not really long ones. Um, in my long form interviews, they're kind of all over the place. It just depends
Yeah.
who's gonna watch it, who I interviewed and stuff like that. Which is pretty interesting to what kind of watch too. And again, I know it's still new. I've been doing this since my launch January 5th. So I haven't been around very long, obviously.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's still kind of watch it just to kind of see like because I don't want to I don't want to bombard my people with too much stuff if they're not enjoying it. And I
Yeah.
kind of
Right.
put a poll out there once, and I may try it again, probably June or July. Put in another poll. Like, do you guys still want to see these 3 different formats? Should I cut back? Should I just because again I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to turn them off or anything like that. And I know there's no magic secret to this game, but again I still want to turn anybody off. I guess is uh, my idea,
Yeah.
anyways, right? So
It's definitely, it is very much like a game. You gotta figure out, what are people gonna click on? What are people gonna be interested in? So that is they've made it very gamified in that way, like trying to solve the algorithm and make things, click worthy and watch worthy, so it's
yeah,
tough.
like, 'cause I also want to be genuine too. I don't want to be like I'm really tired of those shorts you say, like, they always say, "Did you know? Did you know? Did you know?" I'm just like, "I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
care.
No, I didn't know, and I don't care.
No, I don't care. Next." And so I don't wanna do anything like that, but I know those get, like, some of the biggest views.
Yeah,
But I just I don't know. I just don't feel like feel like I'd be disingenuine of myself if I did something like that. And I don't wanna be
I
that
think
kind of
that's what's
person,
most
so,
important. What's most important is for you to, like, be yourself, and I
yeah.
think as long as you're yourself, then you'll find people that'll wanna follow you.
So I guess another like advice question here for someone who has the passion for camera and the skill, but hasn't pulled the trigger and putting anything out in the world quite yet. What would you tell that person?
They don't have any skills, you're saying,
No,
and,
no,
like,
no, no, no,
filming.
no. So they have the passion, the camera, and they get the skills.
Okay.
They
Oh, they
haven't
do,
pulled
they
the
haven't.
trigger to put
Oh,
anything out in the world quite yet.
well, then, I mean, just go for it. I was fearful myself. I mean, it took me many years to get to the point where I, felt like I was able to post or wanted to post. I was always a guy that was behind the camera. That was the camera operator. I was never putting myself in front of the camera, and it was definitely uncomfortable when I first put myself in front of the camera. But I'm so glad that I did it. It's made me. I was definitely very like a shy person, so it's definitely opened me up a little bit more. I feel more willing to like talk to people and get to know people more. So it's helped in that way. But I think I wish I would have started earlier. I feel like it just has been such a great thing in my life, and I think that even if the channel that you make doesn't go anywhere, it gives you I think the confidence to try something new, and you never know what could happen. So give it a go.
That's a good one, yeah. So it kind of reminds me is me and my buddy, we had another YouTube channel before I started this one. It was called Pints with Pals. I love
Oh,
the
cool.
name of it. I think but it was
Yeah.
just me and him talking about beers. We would buy a beer, we talk about it, stuff like that, and then I would try to come up with like a homebrew recipe for a similar version of that. Never really took off, but it was just fun for us to do. And as we were doing that, I kept saying like I want to talk to other homebrewers. So I've been thinking about doing this for like about a year and a half before I actually pulled the trigger in November to start recording. Um, and it's been a blast. I've enjoyed everything I've done so far. I've enjoyed all the people I've met. I've learned so much. People tell me all the time, which I wish they put in the comments and the YouTube, but they'll reach out to me personally, like going, "Oh, I've learned so much from so and so." I'm like, "That's good, but I need some engagement. Put it in the channel somewhere." I ask them questions as well too, right? So
Yeah. Right.
I think you said it's all a game at the end of the day, so you gotta play a little bit, but at the same time, I don't want to be too fake. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
For
Um,
sure. Yeah.
I think let's see, you've answered like so many questions already. I'm trying to skim what I have in front of me right now, which is brilliant. I feel like every guest kind of does that. As things go on, you just start opening up and just a floodgates of information comes out. So I guess we're gonna go to a section that I like the most. It's like the rapid fire round, which is so much
Cool.
fun. All right,
All right.
all right, Trent, here we go. First thing that comes to your mind, if you want to give a little bit of exclamation behind it, go for it. I'm totally cool with that. So the
All
first
right.
question is hazy or clear?
Clear. For sure.
Bottle, there you go. Bottle or can?
Can.
Okay. Ales or lagers?
Right now, loggers. I think I'm a logger guy right now.
There you go. Your favorite hop variety?
Citra. I mean anything Citra, I will drink.
Okay. There you go. So I guess you really like zombie dust then?
I do, and I'm originally from Indiana, so that was a big
Oh,
thing
there you
growing
go.
up in.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm originally from Michigan.
Okay, no way. I'm from the South Bend area,
Okay.
Mishawaka. Yeah.
Okay. So I grew up, well, actually I lived in Michigan most the first 30 years of my life. I'm Flint, Michigan.
Okay, yeah, not too far.
No, not too far at all. Nope, not at all. Yeah, so I've been on
That's
Tennessee
good.
about 20 years ago. Yeah.
Okay, wow, cool.
Yep. Okay, so now else place. Okay, favorite beer glass.
I had it in Australia. It's called a schooner glass. It's kind of like the Nonic, but it's like it kind of goes out and then comes back at the top of the end. And
Oh,
it's smaller
yep.
too. It's like 300 milliliters. It's like a
Hmm.
little bit of a smaller glass. Small, and you can drink more, and they're small, right? You know, I don't
Yeah,
know.
there you go. Yeah, drink more exactly. So hey, this kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. So, are you a morning brew day or evening brew day guy?
I am a morning brew day. Usually the weekends, I'll wake up early in the morning and brew.
Same here. What is one of the most underrated beer styles?
Probably my favorite beer style, which is alt beer. I think a lot of people have not had it. It's not easy to find in the US. So if you ever see it on tap, definitely give it a go.
If you could only brew one style forever, like what would that be?
That's a tough question.
Yeah, always.
If I could only brew one, it'd probably be like a Pilsner of some kind, probably like a Czech Pilsner. I love Czech Pilsner, so something like that, yeah.
There you go. Do you have even like the tap handle for Czech Pilsners, the
No,
sideways
I
one?
don't. I know Steve at Apartment Brewer has one of those.
Yeah.
I've thought about getting one of them. So those are cool.
Yeah, yeah, they are pretty, especially when they have like the little dial on the side. You control like how much
Yeah.
foam comes out and stuff like that. And I thought that was pretty
Yeah.
neat. How do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never had. I know I've had Czech loggers from people making it, but never with like the side handle pour. That's all.
Yeah. I went to the Czech Republic and
Oh, did you?
went to Prague, and yeah, there's lots of those. And actually there's a dark Czech lager
Hmm.
that is really good. If you ever get a chance to try dark Czech lager,
Is
that's
that more malty? That I'm guessing.
yeah, it's a little more malty.
Okay.
But it's the same like Sots and
Yeah.
you know Czech lager yeast. It's great.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Yeah, I just got to convince the wife to go.
For sure.
Let's see. I don't have this list down here, but it's one I do like to ask. Like, is there a brewing There's gonna be a brewing trend that you like to see go away.
Brewery trend that I like to see go away. Hmm. Not really. I mean, I'm not like a huge hazy IPA guy,
Mhm.
but I mean, at least where I am, they're kind of like seem to kind of be going away a little bit. So maybe I'd say that, but I mean, you know, if anything, the trend I'd like to see is less breweries closing. How about
There you go. I love that.
that?
Yeah. So that'd be the next question. Like, what trend would you like to see? But yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. I would. I wish there was a way we could figure out the problem, but a lot of it has to do with I understand like my youngest son's generation. They're not really into drinking beer for the most part. And if they are, they're not going to breweries at all for the most part. They just
Right. Yeah.
just drink at the house, which is fine too. So there's nothing wrong with that. But I think breweries offer beers you may not ever get a chance to try. Right, because
Yes.
there's not a lot
Right.
of specialty beer stores, at least where I live at, there isn't. I mean, maybe San Diego has like a lot of Total Wine and more where they have a bunch of crazy stuff there, but closest Total Wine to me is like 2 hours away. So like I don't get a
Okay.
lot of crazy stuff. So I have to rely on the breweries here to make these weird, stuff so I can actually try them, get an idea what they taste like. So
Yeah. Mhm.
um, let's see. Okay, here's an interesting one. 3D printing or woodworking, which one brings you more joy?
Probably woodworking. It's a little more satisfying to build a whole thing versus just pressing print on a project.
I like that. What was the most stressful for fermentation you've done at home?
Most stressful fermentation I've done at home. Hmm. I don't know. I mean, they're not really stressful. I mean, the other when I brewed this hoppy pilsner, I had like the seal on the fermenter fall in, and I was stressing a little bit during that. But I just put a little like ascorbic acid into it, which helps like scrub some of the oxygen out, and it was fine. So I think a lot of people are nervous about fermentation. It's not really like something. It's not like a boogeyman that you really need to worry about. As long as you're, for the most part, keeping oxygen out, you're fine.
And everything sanitized. I think is the other key thing too.
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
Yeah, I've seen videos in the past where people would like sanitize the air around stuff before they would do things. I'm like,
yeah,
not sure exactly what you're trying to do there, unless you're trying to bring down
yeah.
like dust particles down or something. But
Right. Yeah.
but I feel like you're just wasting sanitizer. And it's not super cheap, anyways. Why don't you just get a spray bottle of water and you're trying to do that,
Right.
or air purifier? Even I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, yeah. For breeze.
Yeah, from man, this beer, this beer tastes like wet linen.
Yeah.
All right, Trent, we're kind of getting up to like the wrapping point right here. So,
Mhm.
just the last few questions here. So we've already talked about your Discord community, which is great. We've talked about things that are coming up. Your new channel that's coming out. Your so actually, it's already up and live right now. Is there anybody that you would like to see me interview next?
I mentioned him earlier. My friend Josh Stubing over at Homebrew Happy Hour. Would be an excellent guest. I
Yeah,
need to interview
a
him.
wild guy for sure. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. And then if you can get a hold of Martin Keene, I'm friends with Martin Keene as well over at
Okay.
Brewosophy.
Yeah, I've reached out
Show.
to him a while ago, but again, I was like, everything was so brand new, so I figured, maybe I could put some skin in the game first.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tell him I dropped his name.
There you go. You've been dropped. You've been picked next. Well, it was like that cold plunge challenge or whatever it was years ago. Or ice bucket challenge.
Yeah, Ice Bucket Challenge. Yeah.
Is there a recipe that you would like to share with the audience? It can even be one of your videos as well, too.
Oh, I would just say go check out my most recent video, the Hoppy Pilsner. I think
Okay.
it is a great beer coming into summer is on the way. I think it would be a great one to have just when the hot weather is inbound. So give it a try.
There you go, for sure. Yeah, I'll link that stuff and all your information in the description when this airs. Let's see. So last thing, if you want, you can go ahead and plug all your socials. Kind of.
Yeah, I mean, just the at the Brew Show on all Instagram. I'm on TikTok as well, YouTube. Come follow along and learn how to make some weird things and some normal things. I do make the occasional normal thing, but I like to experiment a little bit.
Nothing wrong with it. That's what makes this hobby so interesting and diverse at the same time, right? So. Well, Trent, sir, it's been a pleasure to chat with you. Thank you for coming on. Like I said, you've been the one of the most requested guests for quite a while now. So thank you very much. I
Yeah.
hope you have a great
Yeah.
evening. Blessings with the new child around the corner,
Thank you.
all that fun
Yeah.
stuff.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Jeremy. Thanks for
Yeah.
having me, man.
You're going to have so much fun, sir.
I hope so.
All right. We'll see you, Trent.
All right. See ya.